for the story.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my fuck. I'm just gonna leave all of that in because you guys should deserve to see me being a cringe ass loser. Wow, I hate the way that I just spoke to myself. But moving on, I won't do it again. I forgive myself. I'm sorry to myself. I love myself, and we're moving on, and I won't call her a cringe ass loser anymore. Today, for the story, I'm going to be answering questions that you guys left me on my Instagram story. Let me give you the rundown. I started recording a couple podcast episodes and I'm like, I literally don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And since then, we've kind of remedied that. If you saw 2 episodes ago, I was like, I don't know anything. The episode right after that, I was like, okay, I know a few things that I love. And I also know that I have answers to your guys' questions because you guys sent me a lot of questions and I want to kind of get into the questions that you guys have about my life and the things that maybe we haven't talked about recently. There's not a lot of questions, to be honest with you, because I just posted this, but I'm going to get into all of these questions and give you guys the answers to them. So if you left a question on my Instagram story, which go follow me there, the Instagram stories are some of my best pieces of content that I put out to this day. I think they're amazing. And I'm really proud of, I guess, the Instagram stories that I put out. And I would love if you went to go see them. And because if you like this, you will definitely find my Instagram stories appealing. Anyways, I posted something on my story asking you guys, what do you want me to talk about? What questions do you want me to answer? And here is what you all had to say. So I'm gonna dive in. First of all, there's literally 4 questions. Should I be waiting longer? I don't give a fuck. Okay, we're gonna just answer these. If you were there, then you know these are the burning questions that everyone wants to know. So first up, question from Connor is piercing tour, plans for more. Pause. Future Sam here from the end of this episode that I just finished answering that question. You haven't heard my answer yet, but I know it because I just said it. Okay. I'm sorry if this is all confusing for you, but I just wanted to say that I'm just going to tell you about all of my piercings in depth because I'm very passionate about them apparently. And I love them so much. And I recorded 30 minutes about all of the piercings that I currently have and all of the piercings that I want to get. And I don't even know what the other questions are. I didn't even have time to look because I just love talking about my piercings so damn much that is what we focused on in this episode. So maybe the next episode, maybe I'll get to the other questions that you guys asked me, but I apparently have been really wanting a platform to talk about my piercing. So without further ado, let's dive into all of my piercings and all of the healing processes and all of the information above for every single one that I have on my body and every single one that I'm yet to get. I love you. Mwah. Okay. Back to other Sam. Cheers. The very first question that I have is piercing tour and do I have any plans for more? Actually, this is a fun question. I have a lot of fucking piercings and a lot that you guys don't know about. I just have 2 that you guys don't know about. I'm excited to reveal them to the Ethernet, which is the larger internet. I actually don't know the traditional definition of Ethernet. Hopefully it's goes along with the context that I just used that word in. But to dive in, where should I start? Okay, I'm gonna go most boring piercings to my most interesting piercings. First of all, I have 3 lobe piercings on both ears, and then on my right ear I have a 4th lobe piercing. I think I got 2 done professionally. The thing with piercings, okay, pause, dive back real quick. I've always loved piercings so much and I've always known that I want to get a lot of them, but my mom never let me. You know how every girl gets their ears pierced when they're so young, the girls will get their ears pierced literally as a baby, and then they'll be rocking their jewelry to school, to elementary school, and they have the cutest fucking those gel spike earrings from fucking Claire's. Every girl was wearing those. Yeah, well, my mom was always like, no, you can't get your ears pierced until you're 10 years old, which as a little girl, that's a long time. To go 10 years by looking at every woman's or man's beautiful pierced earlobes wearing this wonderful jewelry. Girls my age were at the point where they were wearing dangle earrings. They were wearing dangle earrings and I couldn't even put anything in my ears. I couldn't even wear non-dangle earrings. I guess I could have worn a clip-on, but I did. And you know what I did? I rocked those clip-ons, but they hurt. Hello, a clip-on piercing hurts so bad. And I also would rock those sticker earrings. I was rocking hella princess sticker earrings all of the time. In my dress up to school, I was wearing them 24/7. I wanted my ears pierced so fucking bad, but my mom would never let me get them pierced until I was 10 years old, which bless her soul, whatever. I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't feel like she was in the wrong for that or if she was in the right. It was pretty neutral. Sure, whatever, go for it. I don't know. I was 10. It was fine. So very exciting. I got my ears pierced on my 10th birthday. Loved them. I remember that it didn't hurt that bad. The actual piercing was very underwhelming. But then the healing process, I remember it hurting really bad. Day 2 and 3, I was like, why did I even get this? I wish I didn't even have it. This pain is so bad. I guess I had just never healed a piercing before. First lobe piercing, pain was underwhelming. Second lobe piercing, pain was also underwhelming. I got these probably a couple years later. Actually, when did I get these? I think I was maybe 15, 14 when I got these. I don't know. But piercing, underwhelming. However, healing, I remember again, the lobe piercing, the healing process was so bad. It just hurt so fucking bad to heal them for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I remember my lobe, and it might have been because I was younger and I hadn't just weathered the storm of getting so many piercings and healing them. But I remember my first lobe piercings. I thought that the healing was so fucking annoying and hurt so bad. I'm so fucking thankful I got them pierced. I love my piercings so much. But I guess during the healing, they hurt really fucking bad. And I'm just staying true to myself and what I remember myself thinking, because I feel like if I were to sit here and just tell you today, I'd be like, oh, lobe piercings, no, they don't hurt to heal. But apparently mine did hurt to heal, because I remember throwing a real fit about them back in the day. So then on my right side, my next piercing was a third that I had one of my friends do. I think we did them at a sleepover. Actually, we did all of our thirds at a sleepover. It was the summer before COVID, I believe. I pierced both of my third piercings, but one of them I just did one. We did the ice and the apple in the back of the thing and just put a sewing needle through the ear. I feel like that's a rite of passage for everyone who likes to be pierced. I feel like at least you have one friend who's done it rogue with just a sewing needle. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I did get lucky that it didn't get infected or anything. I did it with two of my friends. They also got pierced, and one of them got infected and one of them was like pierced crooked, so they had to take it out. But mine was chilling, and so that was done. Then I remember I got a third piercing on the other side along with a fourth piercing on the other side, because I already had one extra on my right side, and got a fourth and a third at the same time by a piercer somewhere. I don't know. I literally have no memory of that. I think that was so nothing. I think it was just like in college or in late high school, I went and I just got that done with like little to no thought about it, because I don't know. And apparently they healed fine. So now we're going to dive into what I like to call the exciting piercings, the piercer's piercings. And these are your cartilage and your facial piercings and your body piercings, which I am lucky to have a few of. My first cartilage piercing was actually my flat, which is a weird piercing to get. And a flat is think about how you would get, if you go up your cartilage, like go up from where your lobe piercings would be, up your cartilage. Okay, now you're on the cartilage and they would pierce it towards the outside of your ear. Think about that flat part in the middle of your ear towards the top. That's a flat piercing. And my friend Vivian actually pierced me in our college dorm room before going out on my flat. And the way that I actually met my friend Vivian, who I studied abroad with and have traveled with, you guys would know her if you watch my content, but she went into college offering piercings to kids. She'd be like, I'll pierce your ears for $20. And she had sewing needles and all the disinfectant stuff and like kind of an amateur's piercer setup, but you're college kids and you're dumb. And so she ran this like illegal piercing setup from her dorm room. And my best friend went and got pierced by her. And then they hit it off, became friends, joined the same sorority. And then I was like, I want to get pierced by her. So then we hit it off and she pierced me and we all went out together. And then the rest is history, right? Like then I went abroad with her and now we've lived together for years and she's just so amazing. And that was my flat. I remember the piercing kind of hurt, but I was kind of drunk and also it was so exciting because it was like a dorm piercing and it was like the adrenaline was surging and this is a new girl that I just met and she's piercing me illegally in her dorm room. It was just kind of fun and cool. And the healing on that, literally, I don't have any memory of either. I think it was fine. Oh, I do remember though that it didn't heal completely. Like it just now has started to not hurt sleeping on it. And that was 3 years ago. It was like over 3 years ago that I got that piercing done. And I think it took 2 years for me to be able to sleep on it and for it to wake up and not be sore, like for it to fully heal, which is a long fucking time. I think as a flat, like your ear's always being hit, that's always hitting the pillow if you're sleeping on it or anything like that. It was just a really hard piercing to heal, but I think that it does look really fun. It's very prominent. Everyone can see it when they look at my ear. It's a very, very noticeable piercing, which I fuck with because I think piercings, they're a lot of pain and I want them to be visible and I want people to know that I have them. I say that and I have literally so many non-visible piercings, but whatever. To continue, I got my flat done, and I believe the next piercing I got done was my septum. I'm almost positive. So the story of my septum is the way that I've gone on about my piercings for like 10 minutes now. Are you guys loving this episode? But if you care about piercings, you're going to want to hear all of my piercings in depth, okay? And like I said, those were the boring ones. We're getting into the more interesting ones. So for Australia, when I studied abroad, I knew that I wanted something that was like a marker of my time there. And I decided that it would be a nose piercing and a septum specifically because I knew that if I didn't like it, I could flip it up or I could just take it out and you can't even see the hole anymore. It felt like a very low commitment facial piercing and like a big change that would document or like not document, but set apart my time there from my time anywhere else. And like I wanted to look in the mirror and feel like I'm in Australia, right? Like this is a new version of myself. I'm doing something new. And I think piercings are such a powerful way to step into a new era of your life that pain can represent growth and change. And now you look into the mirror and you see a new person. And now that's your reminder to act like a new person and to show up as this new person. And so that's kind of what the septum piercing was to me. I got it done. It looked so fucking good. When I got it done, I called everyone. And my family didn't like it, especially my brother. He like thought I looked so ugly with it. And my parents just kind of like didn't talk about it. They were just like, okay, like I guess Sam got a fucking piercing. But my friends that I called after I did it, like, that looks like it should be on your face. Like it looks so good. And I had just the regular septum ring in and I loved it. But I knew that I wanted a like, tinier little hoop because I'd followed people on social media that had like little tiny hoops that you can just barely see the piece of metal going through their septum, and I think that looks so chic, and so I wanted it to heal and switch it to that. So I did, and then I had, for the second half of Australia, I had that tinier piercing, and I actually believe that I had my piercer switch it when I went in to go get my belly button pierced. I got my belly button pierced also when I was in Australia. My friend Reagan came to visit, and she got her septum pierced, I believe, as I got my belly button pierced. Very exciting. We had this piercing place that we fucking loved. I don't remember what it was called. I wish I remembered what it was called, but it was right across from Bondi Shopping Center. I was feeling good. I was feeling hot. I had my 3 lobes, my 4 lobes, my flat piercing, my nose piercing, and I had my belly button piercing. I was feeling like a pierced bitch, and I was feeling hot and sexy. And my belly button piercing, oh, that is one of the best piercings that you can get for yourself and your self-confidence, I think. I loved my fucking belly button piercing. It's still there, but it's different, so we'll talk about it in a little bit. But that was one of my best piercings I've ever gotten, one of my favorites. I love a belly button piercing on literally everyone that gets it. They all look so fucking good, and I can't recommend a belly button piercing enough. The healing process for all these piercings, let's talk about it. The nose was so easy. Septum was so easy. Did it hurt? Like a bitch. Yes, I cried. It hurt so bad because it just feels like it is a tight type of pain, like a pinching, searing type of pain, and then you're sobbing because it's in your nose, and so your waterworks automatically respond to it, and like you start to sob basically. It hurts so bad, but my piercer, we're in Australia, he's like, you don't even need to clean it every day, just go in the ocean, like the sea will clean it because it's salt water. I guess the cleaner that they give you anyway is just like saline spray, which is salt water basically. I don't know the piercing terms. Like a piercing apprentice or piercer could be watching this being like, that's literally far from the truth, and I'm not saying that that is completely true, okay? I know that I might be wrong there. And he was Australian, and he was like, just go swim in the ocean, you'll be fine. And so we use that as an excuse to swim in the ocean every single day. My piercing healed right up. It was so fine. The only thing that really sucked with healing my septum piercing is that when you get a septum piercing, bro, you become a girl magnet, okay? So I was going out, and I was rizzing left and right. The girlies knew that I was gay because I had my big-ass septum piercing in, and it was so perfect. I loved it. But however, on that same note, because you look so hot in WLW with your septum piercing you're making out with a lot of girls, and I'm like, you're making out with a lot of girls. I was at that time in my life. I really was rizzing a lot. Anyways, it hurt so fucking bad to kiss with the septum in at first. It hurt so bad. I remember I would literally be making out with people. I'm like acting like I rizz like that much. I don't know. This happened like 2 separate occasions where my nose piercing really, really hurt when I was kissing someone. And it just, because if you're kissing, your faces are smashed and the piercing is getting moved and it's getting pushed up and down and around and side to side. And it's not really a conducive piercing to kissing a lot. So just keep that in mind if you're getting it. I remember one time I think it bled. So that's kind of gross. But when it's smelly, but the smell, if anyone has a nose piercing, you'll know, like, it's almost like smelling your own farts. Like, you're like, this smells so, and you know it's technically a bad smell, but it kind of smells good. Like, you're like, wait, like, I kind of want to smell like you're moving your piercing around. You're like kind of smelling it. Maybe I'm disgusting, but I feel like that is the truth of having a nose piercing. So I loved the septum. And then when I left Australia, true to the time, I got it saying this is going to signify my time in Australia. But when I got it, I loved it. And I'm like, I'm never taking this out. Then I left Australia and I was like, I just feel like I'm ready for a new era. I'm going to take it out. So it did exactly what it was meant to do. And I took it out. I've since gotten it put in again a couple times, which I guess we'll talk about. But I don't know. Every time I put it in, I'm just like, this is not right for me anymore. So ultimately right now I have it out. Next. Before I left Australia, actually the last piercing I got was a double helix on my right-hand side, and it's great. I don't know. It was an easy piercing to heal. I have no complaints with it. Something about my cartilages is, except for the flat, they have all healed so well. Where I've just gotten them, I've sprayed them a couple times a day, and it has been so fine no matter what I'm doing or getting up to. They've all just healed so wonderfully, which is crazy because I feel like that's really rare. And I guess I just have goated ears. Like, they heal so well. And so my double helix got originally with balls in it, like just like classic silver studs with a flat back. Flat backs for all my piercings is what I love. or a hoop, but they can't pierce you with a hoop. So I got my flat back in with just a ball. And then I think 6 months later, I changed it to a gold hoop because I love a gold hoop. Next, did you guys always want me to dive deep and spend like 20 minutes talking to you about all of my piercings? I'm sure you did. Like, that's the content everyone has been begging me for, is to talk about my piercings for 20 minutes straight. I feel like after that, I didn't get pierced for a while. And I think my neck, oh, I know what it was. It was my conch in the same ear was the next piercing that I got. I knew that I wanted a conch so bad. I knew that I wanted a conch in one ear and a rook in the other. Those were like in my head, my next 2 piercings. I wanted them so bad. And so one night I was in Thailand and we were kind of drinking and we're like, fuck, should we go get piercings or tattoos? I'm like, yes, this is actually perfect, because I knew that a conch was going to hurt really, really bad. And that's why I kind of hadn't gotten it to that point, was because it is known as a painful piercing. It's known as a hard to heal piercing. And like, that's very thick skin. If you're thinking of your conch, and if you don't know piercing terms, your conch is, it's the part that leads into your ear canal, like that inner part. It's like right on the edge there. That was like a horrible way to explain it, but it's like the really inner deep part of your ear. I really wanted it, and I knew it was gonna hurt. So when we were in Thailand, we were a couple drinks deep and we went to a tattoo parlor. I was like, this is my time to shine. So I got my conch piercing a couple drinks deep, and yes, it hurt, but it was not that bad. You know, like alcohol really numbs your pain mentally and physically. That's like its whole thing. And it really did numb my physical pain of getting a piercing. And then, like I said, I just have really good luck with healing my cartilage piercings, I suppose, because that was no problems at all. And I really expected my conch to hurt a lot and to give me a lot of trouble. It was definitely like really crusty and you have to clean it out, but I was just spraying it a couple times a day and not spinning it or touching it. And the good thing about a conch, it's very deep in your ear that you're not really touching it. It's not moving around a lot, which is an amazing part about healing it. That one healed way easier than I expected. I couldn't believe it. I really expected that one was going to be really hard. I expected it to hurt a lot, and I expected it to have a really bad healing time. And it did neither. It did neither. The only thing that's been really bad about it is that I tried to change it out. After I had it for about 6 months, I tried to change it out for a hoop around my conch, which I still want to do, but it was just really too painful when I had the hoop in, that it just, I think it needs to be a flat piercing for a while more. So I think I just switched out prematurely. But that's my experience with the conch. Next up, after my conch, I think this would have been, this would have been an exciting one. This is an exciting one. This is one of my favorite piercings, and it's such a fun fact about me that you only learn if like we're close to each other and we're changing around each other. And then I'm like, wait, did you know this? I have both of my nipples pierced. I got them pierced in the winter of last year, which was perfect timing, because you're not supposed to go in the water with them or like a pool or anything. So getting them pierced in the winter was such a hack. But Grant and I were literally at dinner or at brunch one morning, and I was joking. I was like, do you want to go get your nipples pierced? He was like, no, not really. He was like, you should get yours pierced. And I was like, really? Fuck it, I'll do it today. And so then, like, just on a whim, I hadn't even really been talking about wanting them or thinking about it in my head at all, but we were just kind of giggling about it at breakfast, and I was like, wait, actually, I'll do it. That sounds kind of fun. So we went to a piercing place literally right after breakfast. Like, we're calling people at the breakfast. I'm like, can I get 2 nipples pierced today? They're like, sure, come on in. So went there. The girl takes a look at my anatomy. She's like, pinches your boobs to make sure you'll have enough space for, I guess, the piercing to go through. And she's like, yeah, your anatomy should be fine, whatever. She's like, this is going to permanently change the anatomy of your boob forever. I'm like, perfect. Like, sign me up, whatever. It was crazy how spontaneous of a piercing this was for me. And now they're one of my favorites. I think that they make my boobs look so good. I just love them so much. Not to sit here and talk about my boobs for a long time, but I fucking love my nipple piercings. I highly recommend them. Actually, I don't know if I highly recommend them because they hurt so fucking bad. Getting them pierced was by far the worst piercing that I've ever done. It hurt so bad, and because you have to do them one by one, it's just like you do one and it's the worst pain ever, and then you do the other one, and then you just know that you have to do the other one too, and then the other one is even worse, and it's just all painful, and then they're bleeding. Really painful stuff. Not for the weak, and I don't know if I recommend it fully for everyone, but if you like really want your nipples pierced, I think it's worth it. I didn't even really want mine pierced, but I fucking love them, and I'm glad I did it, but it was definitely a tough piercing. And then as far as the healing, my healing was easy. It was so chill. The only thing is that like you are bound to get them caught on something at some point, whether it's super early into your healing journey or like super not early into your healing journey. Literally 2 days ago, mine were bleeding because it got stuck on a shirt it was like stuck on my towel or something. And then there's just blood gushing from your, so keep that in mind. I actually think it looks really cool. I always take a photo. Don't leak my bloody nudes, but I think it looks badass to have like blood coming down from your piercing. Like, I don't know, it looked really cool. It does hurt like a bitch, but I think it's such a fun fact. And I got to show all my friends my boobs after I got them done. I'm like, guys, sit down. I'm gonna flash you and show you my nipple piercings. Everyone loved them. They're a fan favorite, and I'm really glad I have them done. They do get so crusty, and when the girl pierced them, she was like, okay, just so you know, even once they're healed, like once your nipple piercing's healed, it has something to do with your hormones. And I haven't really looked into it, but she's like, every month they're going to get crusty. I think it's like around your period is what I've noticed, but they just do crust up really bad. And I think that's because of just female hormones and the way that boobs work mechanically for our bodies, that they produce some crusties. And so that's something to know, is that you will get crusties for life, where most piercings, once they're healed, you don't really get the crusties anymore. I think with nipples, you are always getting the crusties, but they do look really hot. I think I'll have to take them out when I'm breastfeeding, but I didn't really think about that when I was getting them, and I don't really think about that now. So we'll just cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. Maybe at that point they'll be like, you'll be able to do it with the piercing, and I have no idea. I don't know, but I really love those, and they're such a fun little hidden thing for me to have. Now that I told you all about my boobs for like 5 minutes, I don't know how long it was. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20, who knows? I want to tell you about my next piercings, and these are actually the piercings that I am the most proud about because they are very unique. I walked into the piercing salon, and I was like, what? The piercing salon? The piercing parlor? What the fuck do they call it? Like piercing place? I usually just, I'm like, you want to go to the piercing place? My friends are like, yeah, always. I walked in, and I was like, yo, could we do this? She's like, yeah, fuck it. I've never done that before, but let's try it. I was like, I fucking love you. And what I got was on my belly button, I got 2 piercings on each side of my belly button piercing. So there's one piercing in the middle of my belly button that like hangs straight down. It's vertical, right? And then I got piercings on either side, symmetrical to the main piercing. So now on my belly button, I have 3 piercings. And the 2 piercings on the outside, she pierced the outside with a rook piercing. So a rook is like the pinch of skin that you have close into your ear. It's a tinier, kind of the size of an eyebrow piercing would be, right? So it's a smaller than a full belly button piercing. She put those on the side, pierced me right up. It was so great. And I've never seen anyone do that before. I'm sure I know it exists because it's like, I don't think that I'm the first person to ever have that idea. But I did just kind of was looking at the things. I'm like, wait, what if this could go in my belly button? So I have 2 rook piercings, or like rook jewelries, in holes next to my main belly button piercing. And this one was a really hard one to heal because belly buttons are always hard to heal just because you're wearing pants and they're moving around, and I don't know, they're always getting bloody or crusty or something. And so this one, to heal them, I had to take my main belly button piercing out for 3 months maybe, which is kind of weird because your belly button, you just have these 2 outer piercings. Like, it does look odd because that's not a known piercing and it's not really a cool looking piercing yet, but it was worth it for this healing process to get to where we're at now, because now I have these 2 piercings on the side. However, what I found once those piercings healed and I was ready to put in the middle one, which was about like 3 months later, I learned that the regular size of an eyebrow piercing or of a belly button piercing is too big ultimately to have all of the balls be in your belly button at the same time. Because if you think about it, I feel like I need to be like drawing you a diagram, but I can just explain with my words. If you think about the outer piercings, they're pierced so that the balls on the inside are facing in. Like, they're very much coming to a point in the middle. Both piercings are coming to a point in the middle. Okay. Same thing with the straight piercing that's in the middle. It's coming to a point directly in the middle of your belly button. All of these piercings, the bottom like circles are coming to the same point. There's not that much room in your belly button. When you put back in the belly button piercing with the 2 on the sides, this is so hard to fucking explain. But when I put back in the normal belly button piercing, it was just, there was not enough room for it. It looked really crowded in there. It just didn't look right. And so what I ended up doing was in my middle hole, I put in, and you know how I like to match put in silver and gold. The 2 outside piercings are gold. That's what I got them pierced with. And the middle piercing is a silver eyebrow piercing. So the eyebrow piercing is a little bit bigger than the rooks, but still not by a lot. And it's not as big as like a belly button piercing, but that's what's in my belly button. So I'll show you actually if you're watching the YouTube video, because I think it's really cool and unique. But there's 2 on the outside and then like the 1 silver in the middle. Kind of neat. And actually, whenever she was piercing me this, she actually gagged me really good because I was kind of like sucking in. She's like, their whole video team is recording this piercing as well. She was like, stop sucking in. I was like, oh. She's like, let your stomach out. I was like, oh, real, no, for sure. She got me there. So that was my belly button piercings. In that same day, I got so many fucking piercings this day. I got my right nostril pierced. And I love that piercing. I got it pierced with a stud because you have to always get your nose pierced with a stud, I fear. And then since then, it's been long enough that it's been healed and I now have a hoop in it, which I love a lot more. And that was always the plan when I got it pierced, was to put a hoop in. I got that stud, and then I also had to re-pierce my septum at the same time. So I had a septum and a stud in for a long time, and by a long time I mean like maybe like 3 months. I didn't love it, and I knew that it wasn't my end game. And so then once the outer piercing was healed and I could do more than a stud and I could put in the hoop, I knew that I didn't love the septum anymore. So I now have no septum and just the hoop on my right nostril, which I fucking love. It's probably all of my piercings are my favorite piercings, but I love my right nostril piercing now. And the hoop, I think it's going to be a for lifer for me. Most of my piercings probably will be. I guess you have to take out the nipples at some point. I wonder if when you're pregnant, you also need to take out the belly button piercings. I don't know how all of that works. Surely I won't want my belly button pierced forever, but maybe I will. Fuck, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? But I feel like the nose is going to be a for lifer for me. I fucking love it. It looks like it's made for my face. It's such a dainty piercing and it just looks like a part of my anatomy. The next piercings that I got, these are my last and most recent piercings. 25 minutes diving deep into my piercings. I hope you guys like this lore. They are a double helix on my left side. So I now have 2 double helixes on my cartilage, as well as a rook. And I got all of these pierced on the same day. I got them pierced at a place called Live by the Sword Tattoo in Brooklyn. It's in Williamsburg. And they do 3 for 2 in New York City. They do 3 for 2 piercings on Thursdays. And so I went in and I got that deal and I was like, can we do them all in the same ear? He's like, sure, whatever. He's a great piercer. And I got all of those done with just the traditional silver jewelry. So now I have a rook and God, I fucking love this ear. 4 piercings and then the flat and the 2 double helix and the rook. I just love it. I think it looks so nice. And the healing process for these has been so much easier than I expected. I thought it was going to hurt so bad because I just always think that. And it was so not that bad. The piercings did hurt. They did hurt. And they hurt really even more because I went by myself to get these piercings. Whereas every other piercing that I've gotten, I've been with someone, aka one of my friends, and been able to hold their hand and like complain to them and stuff like that. But this one I was by myself. I had to be a big girl and I had to buck up, and he gave me a stress ball to hold, but it's not the same as your friend's hand. And there was no one really hyping me up other than the piercer. Like, they do their best, but it was kind of tough. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I went through the pain and that I pushed through my fear and got these piercings because they look really fucking good. And I love piercings with my entire heart. I have a couple more in the bag that I want to get. My right ear doesn't have a rook and my left ear doesn't have a conch. I want to get both of those done, and I want to get stacks on my lobe. So I want to get 3 lobe piercings on each side above my 4 lobe piercings that I already have. Actually, one side only has 3, so I need to get a 4th there. And I want to get 2 more helixes on top and on bottom of each one of these that we have in. So we've got a lot more piercings coming. I'm not done. I want my ears to be stacked like crazy. I don't think I'll ever be in for a dermal piercing or anything like that, like on my body. An eyebrow looks so cool, but I'm not sure if it's for me. I think I would rock it, but I think that it is such a trendy piercing right now, and I just feel like I don't need it. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I think it would look really cool, but I think I would only keep it for like 2 years max, 3 years max, and I don't know. I mean, I did get the septum for Australia, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm just not that interested in that one, and I think that's okay. I think they look awesome, and I think that it would look awesome on me, but I just don't have a burning desire to do it. I am trying to think if there's any other piercings that I really want. Oh, the wind is just blew this door, and it kind of freaked me out. I'm trying to think if I would ever get my tongue pierced. I don't think I would, just because the healing process seems awful. Lip would be really cool, like upper lip. What's it called when you get a piercing like in your bow there? Bailey Sarian has her piercing there, and I think it looks wonderful. I would maybe get that. Maybe I would get dermal pierced in like your back. Oh, that would be so sexy. Like tramp stamp dermals would look so good. Maybe I would get that pierced. God, I don't know. But all I know is that I love piercings, and I'm really happy with the piercings that I have, and I want to keep building on them. I'm not done getting piercings. I'm going to be a pierced bitch, especially my ears. I just want you to look at them and just be like, wow, she has a lot of piercings. Thank you so much for listening to me yap about my piercings for literally 30 minutes. I love you guys so much, and future Sam will be coming on to talk about the donation for this episode and how you can donate, and how every single review that you leave donates technically like $2 to a foundation. Send me any DMs too if you have any topics for the podcast that you really want to hear about. Let me know, and maybe I'll make a podcast about it for you. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of For the Story with Sammy K, because it is my core belief with this podcast that if I have the platform and the resources to sit here and tell you about my crazy stories, I also have the platform and resources to tell you about amazing nonprofits around the world that are doing wonderful things and make donations to them. For every review left on For the Story during the month of December, we will be donating $1 to the American Civil Liberties Union, and then I will tally all that up at the end of the month and double the donation. So technically, every single review on this podcast is worth $2 donated to the American Civil Liberties Union, and let me tell you about the amazing things that they are doing. Their website says, for nearly 100 years, the ACLU has been our nation's guardian of liberty, working in courts, legislatures, and communities to defend and preserve the individual rights and liberties that the Constitution and laws of the United States guarantee everyone in this country. Whether it's achieving full equality for LGBT people, establishing new privacy protections for our digital age of widespread government surveillance, ending mass incarceration, or preserving the right to vote or the right to have an abortion, the ACLU takes up the toughest civil liberties cases and issues to defend all people from government abuse and overreach. With more than 4 million members, activists, and supporters, the ACLU is a nationwide organization that fights tirelessly in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. to safeguard everyone's rights. I'm so excited to make this donation with you guys at the end of the month. In the meantime, subscribe to For the Story anywhere that you get your podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Living for the Story, as well as at SKZZOLO, and follow me, Sammy K, on TikTok at SKZZOLNO. Leave reviews, and I will see you tomorrow.
For the Story.